First of all, I just have to say that for Esther, I have a huge crush on her, but no.
That's because as she stands here with us flowing through her, there is unconditional love. It's very attractive.
It is very attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. A lot of questions, but the thing that's been coming up the most for me today is every time you say, well, Abraham says, take a nap, go to bed, I have a lot of trouble sleeping.
Take a nap. So what happens when you put yourself into a sleeping mode? Are you sleeping on nails or something? Nice, comfortable space? Dogs barking? What's going on?
I do have a big dog, but I have a lot of physical pain. Sorry.
Is it more acute when you are trying to rest, or you're just more aware of it because other things aren't distracting you from it?
I'm probably more aware of it, but there's the pain piece, and then my head goes a million miles a minute all the time.
And what do you think is the strongest distraction to the slumber? Do you think it's that you're just so wound up? Because we're going to give you a key. This is going to help you a lot.
Okay.
So we've been talking about law of attraction. We've been talking about you being an extension of source energy. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about your vortex and your inner being and how your inner being feels. And we've been talking about alignment and misalignment. We've been talking about going with the flow or against it. We've been talking about allowing or resisting. And so all of this is to help you to realize that the source within you is a really good feeling energy. And the reason that it feels good is because it's not scattered. Mm-hmm. In other words, whether it is slow momentum or fast momentum, it's the contradiction that makes it uncomfortable. And contradicted energy is what causes all discomfort. Mm-hmm. So what we're leading up to here is that a really good sleep, in other words, when you are in sync with your inner being, that's when you are the most comfortable. Now think about comfort in terms of emotion. Mm-hmm. Positive emotion feels comfortable. Negative emotion feels uncomfortable. Right. Being up to speed with who you are feels comfortable. Not being up to speed with who you are feels uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So whether you call it emotional discomfort or physical discomfort, it just means that there's a lot of energy flowing because there's strong desire within you that you're not quite allowing yourself to get into sync with. So you know the experience of waking up. You may not know it because maybe you've never been asleep yet, but of course you've been asleep. You know the experience of waking up and deciding not to get up and just drifting off back to sleep. Would you call that comfort? In other words, it's like resting in the alignment of who I really am. Yeah. It's resting in the alignment of who I really am. Have you also had the feeling when you wake up and right away you're worried about something? And even though you'd like to go back to sleep, there's no point in even trying, because you can feel how scattered you are and you know you're not going to get back to sleep. So you might just as well get up and have the crappy day you're planning to have, because you know the difference, don't you? You can feel the difference. Mm-hmm. And so what you may want to do is meditate before you go to sleep. Quiet your mind before you sleep. Do you meditate?
I do, not consistently, but I do.
Have you had the experience of meditation?
I have.
Do you know how to quiet your mind?
I used to be better at it. I've had the experience.
Because quieting your mind is just focusing on things that aren't so active. Yeah. In other words, don't take a child at the end of the day after they've been running and having so much experience and then expect them to go right to sleep. Yeah. And don't expect that of yourself either. In other words, you sort of have to wind down to it. Mm. But even more than that, how do I get rid of doubt before it starts? How do I sleep more easily? By not getting so agitated before I try to sleep. That really is all that it is about. We do not believe that it is the physical discomfort that really is what is keeping you awake. We do know that it's your worry about the physical discomfort that's got your energy all going in lots of different directions, so that then you don't allow yourself to relax. Mm-hmm. You see? Yeah. So we know some of these answers are not that satisfying because we can't give you something that will cause you to immediately go to sleep. It might take you a month to figure out how to go to sleep. But the key is wind yourself down. Find something of interest maybe you like to watch. Esther likes to watch the home and garden shows, the people remodeling houses, the people buying furniture, things that don't require too much thought. In other words, it's pretty easy to just focus on it. They're all having their experience. And find something that you enjoy, that you're not controversial about, that doesn't tug on your strings of resistance, or something not that you're so passionate about either. Just find some things that sort of allow you to settle down. The reason that we, and a lot of teachers, teach meditation as the path to alignment, as the path to connection with Source, is because your cork will float in that non-resistant place unless you're doing that thing you do that causes you to hold it under the water. When you meditate, you quiet your mind. When you quiet your mind, you stop thought. When you stop thought, you stop resistance. When you stop resistance, your cork floats. And when your cork floats, you're in that vibration of well-being. It's a vibration of well-being that you're seeking. So would you say that as you're running around in your day, that you find that vibration of well-being easily?
No.
Isn't that the most logical thing? In other words, you're practicing thoughts, and it's all right, everybody does, that are holding you in that resistant place. And then all of a sudden you're asking yourself to just not be in that resistant place. So let us define what true slumber is, what beneficial slumber is. It's the absence of resistance and the rejoining with the energy that is truly who you are. That's what true sleep or slumber is. You don't need to rest. You've been resting while you've been sitting here on these chairs. Your bodies have been at rest. But what's going on in your vibration, that's what matters, you see. And so it's a matter of quieting that resistance. So we've talked a lot over the years, offered lots of processes about how to find a better feeling thought. But these days, what we're really wanting you to accept, let us just ask you a series of questions. Do you believe that your inner being is an active vibration in your experience?
Yes.
How do you think your inner being exists? Do you think your inner being worries about stuff?
No.
So would you call your inner being clear?
Yes.
And empowered?
Yes.
And powerful?
Yes.
Would you call your inner being a vibration that you could translate into love?
Yes.
Would you call your inner being a vibration that you could translate into impulse, into good feeling?
Yes.
Into well-being?
Yes.
So could you call your inner being, except for the fact that your inner being is non-physical, could you call your inner being the personification of well-being?
Yes.
And could you say, well, maybe not my inner being, maybe I'm the personification of the vibration of the well-being that is my inner being.
Yeah.
I am the leading edge manifestation of that well-being. Think about it. Think about why you're here. Are you not the manifestation of the vibration of your inner being? Are you not the extension of that? Are you not the extension of that source energy? So if that source energy is that love that you recognize, you know you're right, you know it, you've felt it often enough, and you're agitated, then say the words, I'm not being the manifestation or the personification or the actualization of my true inner being. I've introduced clutter into the mix, so I'm not allowing myself to be who I really am, and it's keeping me awake at night.
Yeah.
It's what causes me stress. It's what's causing me frustration. It's what causes me to be mad at this one or this one or this one. I've got stress in my being because I'm not letting myself go with the flow that is so dominant. Now this matters. The flow that is so dominant, well, inner being, if you'd stop being so positively dominant, then my resistance would not be such a problem to me. But your inner being is not ever going to stop being dominantly, powerfully aligned with well-being. So you've got to find a way to line up with that. You can't win any other way. You're not ever going to rest as long as you're agitated. You're not ever going to win. Things aren't going to go well for you until you finally hear it once and for all that that's who you are and that's how you got to be to feel good. It puts feeling good at such a high level. Not solving a problem, feeling good. Not getting your taxes done or paid, feeling good. Not getting the house cleaned, not getting all that stuff on your list that you've been trying to do in order to prove your value to others who are comparing you for all the wrong reasons. You got one thing to do, and that's allow yourself to feel good,
Earlier you said about something that really resonated with me about the willingness to do anything it takes to feel good. And that sounds great. It's just a little daunting.
Well, here's where that willingness applies. Are you willing to go to bed tonight and acknowledge, if I go to sleep, momentum will subside? You willing to acknowledge that?
Yes.
Pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you willing to acknowledge that when I sleep tonight, as I sleep, my momentum will subside?
Yes.
Are you willing to acknowledge that when you awaken in the morning, when you first wake up, that for an instant, you are in a place of non-resistance?
Yes.
For an instance. Are you willing to acknowledge that?
Yes.
Are you willing to acknowledge that that instant could be longer than an instant?
That would be great.
Are you willing to acknowledge that you want to be aware of that first moment of being awake?
Yes.
Are you willing to say, I woke up, momentum stopped, how do I feel? I feel good. Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Are you willing to do that? It sounds like a really silly thing that we're asking you to be willing to do, but do you know what percentage of people actually do that even after we harp about it for a long time? Because it really is easier to do what you usually do than it is to do something that you've newly decided to do. It's just that this matters more than every other thing that you've ever decided to do put together. This matters more than all the college education. This matters more than all the dates you've been on and all the relationships that you've been about. This matters more than your entire childhood put together. This matters more than learning Quicken on your computer. This matters more than everything put together. Being in alignment with who you are. Acknowledging that your inner being exists, do you?
Yes.
Acknowledging that your inner being does feel good, do you?
Yes.
Acknowledging that you could tune to it if you tried just a little bit, do you?
Yes.
Acknowledging that it's not a hard thing, it's an easy thing. Can you acknowledge that?
Yeah.
That's as much as it gets. And then just doing it again and again and again until you begin to notice. At first, you're moving just a little bit, a vibration into a thought. So we coached you into that thought. Are you willing? We said, are you willing?
Yes.
And we stayed at it. We offered a vibration, a simple vibration, strong enough, and we just sort of insisted that you say, yes, I'm willing. In other words, we coached you into the vibrational frequency of that. But if you had been not in the vicinity of it, you wouldn't have been willing. And now, let's see what happens. Let's see what impulse you feel as you put yourself in your bed tonight. You'll know. Will the impulse be, I'm going to slumber and my momentum will stop and tomorrow I will have a fresh start? Are you willing to contemplate that thought?
Yeah.
Do you think that there's enough momentum that's happened in this forum here today that will be an easy thought for you to have?
Yes.
And do you think that as that thought occurs to you, as you put yourself in your bed tonight, that you will acknowledge that there was enough momentum that got going that it was easy for you to have that thought? And are you willing right now to acknowledge that when you go to bed tonight, you're going to have a different thought about going to bed than you've ever had before?
Yes.
Do you think that you're going to be willing to acknowledge that there was enough momentum in that thought that it's going to serve you, and that as you drift off to sleep, and you will, that the momentum will stop? Do you think there's enough momentum for you to get that far?
Yeah.
And do you think that it will lead all the way into the thoughts in the morning that when you wake up you'll think, here I am. It's a fresh start. I've pushed the reset button. Yeah. I'm in a whole new aligned vibration, and it's all right if I don't hold it. But for now, I'm acknowledging that I'm there. Do you think there's enough momentum that can carry you that far, you see?
Yes, definitely.
So if there is enough momentum to carry that far today, and you do it tomorrow, and you do it the next day, and you do it the next day, and you do it the next day, it is our promise to you that within 30 days, you will have a different vibrational stance as you start your day. Everything in your world will shift just from that.
I believe it.
Now think about what happened here. You all think that we gave you a process. You think that we gave you some advice or encouragement on what to do tonight when you go to bed and what to do in the morning when you get up. Well, it isn't the advice that we gave you that matters. It's the vibrational momentum that is happening that allowed you to hear it and receive it. And you'll know by how easy it is for you to take it further into behavior and action. You'll know how much momentum actually got started. So, knowing that, when you start focusing on ideas or processes that are in sync with the core vibration, the root vibration of well-being that is truly who you are, that momentum gets going stronger and stronger and stronger. And within just a few days, you begin to feel your stability. You just begin to feel greater clarity. You begin to feel things don't bother you so much. You begin to feel your sureness, your certainty. And then manifestations start coming as a result of that.